Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at an Excel spreadsheet where somebody has used colour to represent data. Now, one of the things with data is you need to turn it into information to make it useful. Once you've got that information, you can use a pivot table or you can use Power Query to make sense of it. However, if the data is just represented by a colour, it has no information. So today we're going to use some if functions and conditional formatting, and we're going to make those colours actually turn our data into information so we've got something tangible to use. Have a look at the video and see if you find it useful. Love to hear your comments. Now, we used this data for a video I did earlier on using conditional formats to identify dates, but the problem we've got here is that although these dates are coloured and they stand out very well, they've got no meaning. So if I had to do a pivot table to count out how many had expired, how many were current and how many were due, that pivot table wouldn't work because you can't really, or you can, but it gets very difficult to say count up how many are green, how many are orange, how many are red. And if you've ever set a spreadsheet up like this, you will have realised that this could be a problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to put in some wording to validate, to take that data and change it into information. So I've added an extra column. I've called that column comment, always a good idea. Now, when we set these up, the conditional formats here with the dates, it worked off of this key here. So you've got a key over here. Oh, sorry about that. That should have been a square. Let's try again. So this is the legend that tells me what's going on. So in the expired cell in G4, it's actually puts in today's date. There we go. There's the formula, equals today. In the 7 days to go, we actually use G4 plus 7, because what that's doing, that's taking G4 and it's adding 7 days on to the current date. And the last one in G2, get the picture here, is going to be G4 plus 14. So it's the current date plus 14. If you want to know more about this, go back and look at the video on conditional formatting with date parameters. I'll link it in the comments. So we want to take that a bit further. So what we want to say now is if the date has passed, the course has expired, and if the date hasn't passed, it's current. So we're just going to keep it simple for the moment. So I'm going to use something called an if statement. So let's come down here and let's talk about how it works. So we're going to use the IFs. Some of you might have used if, and the ifs is a slightly newer way of doing it. Sometimes I still like the old way, but a lot of people I've find the new way easier. So the way an if works is you'll ask the question. So in this case we're saying, is C2 less than or equals to G4? So is C2 less than or equals to today's date? If it is, we want Excel to come back with the comment of expired. Or maybe C2 is greater than G4, so maybe it's after today's date. And if that's the case, we want it to come back with a comment of current. So let's come up into D2. I'm going to take you through the wizard because you can type these in automatically, or sorry, you can type these in manually, and that's fine, I tend to, but I think when you're getting the hang of them, I actually think the wizard is very good. So we use the wizard, and I like it because it takes you through each step. So let's go up to the formulas tab and we'll go to logical, and here we are. So there's the old if you've used that before, and that would work. You just need to change the way you're wording it, but we're going to go down to the ifs, IFS. Okay, so the ifs box, and the way it works, the first bit is the question, the second bit is what you want to happen if that question is true. So let's take our first option. We're going to say C2 is greater or equal to G4. So is it over or the same as G4? Now my comment I want to come back with is expired, because obviously, okay, sorry, that should be a less than. Hopefully you were yelling that at the screen and saying that should be less than. So C2 less than or equal to G4. that's going to come back with expired. I'm just going to zoom in there so you can see that. There we go. And what's happening, I'm just going to show you what happens if I put something in wrong. So let's pop something in, let's make a mistake here. There we are. So you can see when I've put something in wrong there, Excel doesn't recognise it, comes up with red option. So I know that that bit's wrong, so I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so that's the first bit. That's the first, the question, the answer. Now I did my next question. So we're going to say C2 is less than G4. Just bear in mind when you're doing this, sorry, C2 is greater than G4. You have to have all your parameters covered. So this first one, zoom in again, is greater than or equals to, and this second one, so less than or equals to, and this one is greater than or equals to. So I've covered everything, less than or equals or greater. So you must have the equal sign somewhere, otherwise it doesn't include it and it ignores it. So we've got the expired in. Also, you might have noticed that within the wizard, Excel has automatically put quotes around the word expired, because when it puts quotes, it's saying it needs to bring back text within a formula. So we didn't have to put them in. When you put it in through the wizard, you don't. So let's pop in the next value. So if that question is true, so C2 is greater than G4, we're going to put current. Okay, I need to do one more thing, and because I'm going to drag this down, but G4 is not going to change. So I need to fix G4. So I'm going to use my dollar signs. There is a shortcut for that, the F4 key that lives at the top of your keyboard. On some laptops, it needs the FN key to go with it. So you might find you need FN and F4, and if that doesn't work, just type it in. $1 before the letter, $1 before the number. So we're going to absolute G4, and we're going to absolute G4 there as well. So what that does, I'll do a separate video on absolute cells as well, but it also allows, when you copy this down, G4 won't change, and I don't want G4 to change because I want everything to reference back to G4. Okay, so we've got if, let's just zoom in and have a quick recap on that. So we're saying if C2 is less than or equal to G4, it's going to say expired. If C2 is greater than G4, it's going to say current. And I have got the option with this wizard to put another one. So you can put several in. Just be careful to work logically up or logically down. Don't jump about. Right, let's choose OK. Okay, and I should now be able to drag this down. And there we go. So let's put those in. I'm going to do one where I just type it in. Let me just insert a few columns, and because some of you might prefer that. So let's give this a go. So exactly the same thing, but instead of using the wizard, we will type. So we're going to start off equals ifs, IFS, open brackets. The syntax is the same. So we're going to say C2 is less than or equal to. You see the cat come past there. It's now I4 because I've moved some columns in, and we're going to absolute that, comma. And then now we're going to say C2. Oh, yeah, and that would be expired. If I can spell that right. Okay, and now we're going to say C2 is greater than I4. Absolute I4, comma, and we want that to read current. Close quotes, close brackets. So when I type it manually, I need to put in all the quotes myself. I need to put the commas in. I need to put the brackets in. But actually, when you get used to it, it's far quicker. Press enter. Okay, and then we'll just copy that down. So you can see both ways are fine. It's really what you feel most comfortable with. Okay, let's just delete that because I don't need that in there. Okay, so let's just add in conditional formatting. So what we're now going to do is we're going to highlight these, and we're going to go insert, home, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, equal to, we're going to say current, we want current to be green, So let's choose custom, mainly because that's it. So customize format, fill. Let's go green, and we'll go white text as well. So at the top, font, colour, white. Choose OK. So that's that one. Let's do one for expired. So stay in, choose OK. And then conditional formatting again. Highlight cell rules equal to expired. These aren't case sensitive, by the way. And let's change the red. So let's go custom format. Let's go. The font is going to be white. The fill is going to be red. Choose OK. Choose OK. And there we are. So let's give this a go. Let's just change a couple of these dates around to test it. So I'm going to change this one. Let's imagine this last person, Mo, has redone their qualification. So now it's going to expire on the 1st of July. And there we go. So the date's changed because of the conditional formatting, and also the comment has changed. So I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to follow up with another video about how to add in the third condition, and also we'll talk a bit about pivot tables. So watch out. If you like and subscribe, you'll get notified when I post the others, because this is a bit of an ongoing project, and we want to kind of look at how we can kind of make this data into information and make it work for us.